Hello, my name is Chris. I will be showing you a little bit about VSXu Artiste. This is a visualization program. What it's really used for is to create really art in many aspects. You can call it 3D art or any sort of artistic value to it. In reality, what it does is it's a interface where you actually work and play with the graphics of a computer directly with these little modules. Now you also have a sound input. This one is from the microphone listener, and if I'm quiet, you'll notice this this rectangle is kind of chilling in that little diagonal position. So what we're going to go through is I'm going to show a few examples of this little program. Very fun to play with. A lot of it is self-exploration. There's not many tutorials on left, and my knowledge is very limited, but as I learn, I will put more tutorials up on how to use it. And the tutorials already available are minimum in quality. No offense to anyone that's created tutorials for this already. It's just very limited in what you can work with, and it's a little bland, if anything. I do like to make tutorials. I've made tutorials on Linux with Ubuntu Lost videos before. I've kind of strayed away from that. I do not play around too much with it. I still use Linux as my basic system, but I do like to play around with other things too, so I kind of move around with my knowledge. So what I'm going to do real quick is show you a few little examples of what you can do with, let's say, our little program here. So this is a wave cross. That's me being quiet, and this is me talking. Now you can kind of already kind of tell that this is going to be essentially a oscillator or oscilloscope that's being projected into multiple diagonal positions. And I'm not going to go too much into how to use this program yet. This will be in the next tutorials. So I'm kind of showing you just a few examples of what you can do with this. So there's that. You also have the ability to have stationary sort of renderings. This is a simple clock being rendered at the moment. And you have PNG inputs where you plug them into particular texture-based modules, and that will give you a rendering of what's happening. And of course you can basically customize and set up where you want these individual bits to rotate around. In this case we've got a time, and it's actually using our, let's see, system clock right here. This is the system clock. This is based on the computer itself, so whatever your clock says on your computer, that's what's going to show up on there. Now I'm not going to go through a lot of examples, and I'm not going to go through any complicated examples, only because my computer is just a wee bit restricted on the graphical inputs, especially 3D sort of renderings. I believe I'm using an integrated card, at least at the moment. I'm hoping to get something better in the future. Here's your general oscilloscope. It actually looks not too general. It's giving you a little feedback, and I can probably find where that is right here. Yep, so it's got a feedback going in and out of itself. Or it might be right here. It's right here. So one thing you'll notice is the plugging is, this is the output going in, and then this output is going back into the input here, and it's creating a feedback loop. This is very useful when you're playing around with effects, and it can cause some chaos to your computer if you don't do it correctly. We'll learn more about that in the future. Let's see the star. This is once again also controlled by sound input. You can see the intensity of the brightness happening and the size of the star in the background depending on particular sound spectrums. Now this video isn't going to be big on information. It's going to be mostly showing you a few examples of what you can do with these guys. So here's some examples and visualizations. a particle system that basically multiplies as certain sounds affect our mathematical little formulas here. You have different modules. You do have mathematical modules, anything from adding, multiplying, dividing, modulus, even counters or adders. We'll play around with those in the future. At the moment, I'm not going to go too far into it. However, to get the full dynamics of this program, you do need to understand numbers, mathematics, trigonometry in many cases. You just have to be really familiar with numbers. And I've got a few examples here. This was an edit I did from one of the modules. And I have a little cheat sheet over here for the sound spectrum. I created this little cheat sheet to kind of give me an idea of what sounds affect what inputs. You'll notice if I go way over here into my octaves, each one of these octaves are inputted to one of these rectangles. And of course I've got my little oscilloscope at the bottom showing me the details as well. Now there was a way you can create a animated frame by frame cartoon. If I can find it, it would be nice. 3D, engine, modules. Could have sworn it's in here somewhere. A lot of this learning is going to be on your own through exploration. The guides online are limited, kind of bland to go through, but it's fun to just play around with it and connect different modules together to see what happens. Now, of course, you connect the wrong ones together. I've frozen my computer a few times, which is pretty funny, considering you have full extent of the power of your graphics card or CPU. And this is just a small example of fire created by this little diagram here. So I couldn't find the little frame by frame animation. I wanted to show you it, but that's going to be done for another day. So that'll be it for this video, just kind of an intro. We'll go into more detail. We'll actually go into the actual usage of the controls in the next video, and then I'll show you a quick example in the one after. So that'll be it for this one. See you later.